Good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here. I am Kim Carr with the Best Missouri Hands, and today's studio tour is part of the Best Missouri Hands Professional Development Workshop Series that we do a special workshop each month. And this year we're focusing on studio tours because it's fun seeing behind the curtain and seeing where our artists create and what inspires them. So today we are joined by Carol Estes. She is a juried Best Missouri Hands photographer, but she loves to dabble in everything. So her business name is Welcome to Carol's World. We're excited to have her here uh, because I know she does a lot of stuff. So I'm looking forward to seeing her studio. I'm going to read her bio just to give us a little insight, and then I'm going to turn it over to Carol. This is being recorded today, so it will be on the Best Missouri Hands YouTube channel later today or tomorrow, so people can come back and enjoy it at their convenience. So, Carol is a Best Missouri Hands juried photographer, like I said, but she loves to explore a variety of mediums and techniques. This lady does not fit in a box, okay? In the realm of photography, she has been experimenting with alternative processes, some dating back to 1848, just after the camera was invented. So she does some cool things. Today she takes her photography, mixed media, and about anything else she can find to create unique works of art. And yeah, she does things I've never seen before, so it's cool. This fall, Carol will be part of a two-person show. She's going to be showing her chlorophyll printing, which will include imprinting actual images into real leaves, and that's amazing. She's sharing the gallery space with a friend of hers who has a PhD thesis, which was in chloroplast, the chemical makeup of leaves. So that's kind of cool. You're combining an artist and a scientist. That's very neat. So today, Carol is here to share her crazy life, and we can take a look into her creative space. Welcome, Carol. Thank you very much for being here with us today and sharing your time and your space. I'll let you take it over.
Okay. Well, I'm not, there's not really a good place to start. Otherwise, I put together this video and it actually carries through kind of where Carol World started and where it's kind of leading. So if you want to share my screen, I'll be happy to start that and we can go from there.
Okay, you should be able to share your screen, Carol. I made you a co-host. So if you
Okay.
go down to share, um, hopefully
Host,
that'll work if
host
you go
tools
down to
for
share.
participants.
Excuse me.
Okay. Where I said, where am I hitting share?
Down at the bottom of your screen, you're on your Mac?
Yes.
There should be a variety of icons at the bottom of your screen, which shows
Yes.
participants, chat, reset, and share should be one of them.
Oh, there we go.
Okay. Hopefully you'll be able to click on that. There we
All right.
go.
Can you see an all blue gradient screen?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And nothing else besides the screen, right?
Correct. And make sure you do not mute yourself while your video plays because it'll mute your video sound. So keep your mic open.
Okay. All right. Here we go. This art space evolved somewhat recently. My studio is technically outside, down the road, on the computer, out in the yard, and in my kitchen. I was piling stuff everywhere. The space has never been usable since they did not put proper heat vents in. In 2008, I had to raise it up and add a cast iron beam to level back. In addition, my previous life was in flux, closing my antique store, a 10,000 square foot building after 30 years. I had collected and sorted all sorts of stuff. I figured one day I might need it. Surprisingly, now I can say my previous life and my current life have kind of melded into one. It makes it really exciting. Fast forward, and all this crazy stuff is at my fingertips. I've expanded to alternate processes and creating compositions using mixed media. The creativity is endless. It's amazing when you're in the antique business and you just keep setting the broken jewelry aside and then more jewelry aside and more miscellaneous aside, then you realize there is quite the collection. So I've sorted a lot of it out and trying to take my old vintage stuff and giving a new life with different various means of resin and pre-made trays for the jewelry and necklaces, and then other people give me ideas, and here we are. So that means I need all sorts of miscellaneous, from what kind of shells do I need, what kind of flowers do I need, what kind of plants, whatever botanicals outside, bark, you to name it. It could be just about anything. And I'm compelled to stack it, dry it, sort it, and let it hang there until it starts to talk to me. Every travel has a box of something I find and pile going back home, just in case. I would also take it other classes by artist friends and sort of the materials needed for their mediums, including oil paints, pastels, alcohol inks, stuff like that. Frequently, I refer to all this as my squirrel syndrome. I'm currently working on a book of the Indiana Dunes. The Indiana Dunes National Park is one of the newest national parks in America. And it turns out that the national park up here has its first eagle nest in a certain location that is easy to assess. So got obsessed. And here's some of the work. Cyanotypes is one of the coolest things. It was invented in 1848, and it's called sun printing today, but you use UV light or the sun and light sensitive chemicals, and you can create all sorts of cool art. And I got so that I wanted to kind of think outside the box. So I made my own substrate, pulled up broken glass and coffee filters. And then I found the ginkgo leaf. The challenge was to find a way to make wearable art out of ginkgo leaf. I have found a way to make cyanotypes on it and converted it to wearable jewelry. So I realized there might be variations on the theme. And that's when I thought about the laser. Do I need a laser? Do I want a laser? Do I need a laser? Do I want a laser? Okay. When the cicadas surfaced, I put a call out for some of the wings because I was using them in my cyanotypes. Then I had somebody ask me if I made earrings. So I'll blame it on them. It's squirrel time again, but now it's inspiration time. I'll lay things out, and a lot of times I'll just come up with a design, move things around, take a picture, see how I like it, rearrange it, and come up with things I think are pretty cool. And it's all Carol style. I so enjoy walking away after creating something and putting it on the wall or taking a photo and realize that it just all came together just perfectly. Oh, wait, I just have celery in my refrigerator I need to use. And oh, wait, there was a reel that just came across making paper using celery. Wait a minute, more squirrel. as a photographer, composition in all things is how I see things. So as I lay things out, come up with finishes, I love to have things remind me where I have been and where I am going. Last but not least is my obsession of the last 18 months or so of chlorophyll printing. It's the most insane thing I found and very difficult to do, but I like the challenge. It's embedding images into a leaf permanently using the sun or UV light, then taking steps to make it archival, and then creating the story in my mixed media brain to make an art piece. I was fortunate to receive a message from a lady who said she had never heard of this process and wanted to know if I could put an article together on my process for their magazine. So, how exciting is that? I hope you enjoyed a little bit of Carol World. And it turns out I have some upcoming news, and hopefully it'll make the future amazing.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Are you going to share your upcoming news?
Yes,
Or
it
is that to
actually,
be?
yeah, let me see if I can unshare this. Oh wait, there we go. Stop share. Yeah, it's actually there's in small type at the very end, but it turns out that I'm going to be uh, coming back to Missouri permanently in the next couple of
Oh,
years. And
nice. Very good.
yeah, yeah. So that's pretty cool. And
Yeah. Yeah. Carol,
I no, go
go
ahead.
ahead. I was
Uh,
just going to say that to Carol's one of our out of state members. To be a member of the Best Missouri Hands, you can live anywhere. But to jury in, you have to live in Missouri at least a certain part of time. And at that time, she did live in Missouri when she was juried in. She has since moved out of state. But as long as once you're juried, you're always a juried member, as long as you keep your membership dues paid and you're a member in good standing. But we will definitely welcome you back to Missouri. That is exciting.
thank you. I think so.
Yeah. So obviously by your video, you do a little bit of everything. Is there anything you don't use in your work? I mean, it looks like you can take anything and your mind just goes, "Hey, I can do something with this."
Yes, when your fingers do that's where my brain goes. Yes, and that's why I started it out and it says Carol World on steroids because I started out with my camera. And I found photography is daunting because now everybody with a camera is a photographer. So I wanted to find a new lane where I kind of wasn't just making pictures, but I was actually doing other things. I can't paint or draw. So I figured I had to fill in the gaps everywhere else. So that's kind of how it happened. And then I think in my previous life, I spent a lot of time doing research in my antiques because I had to go through and figure out why the piece is here, what's its history, where it's going, the value of it, and so I did a lot of research, and so I think it kind of is a version of research, and so I'm kind of figuring how does all of this entanglement work, and can I tell a story with it? And so the
Mhm.
stories can be really strange, but that's okay. It's all good. But
Well, I,
I
I
really,
I
I
have to tell you, my personal oh, I was just gonna say my personal favorites are really where you do incorporate nature. I know
I
that
do.
I have sent you some snake skins that you've worked with, and the fact that you've made earrings out of cicada wings. I mean, I find that very cool.
And I tell the story all the time about you walked in and posted on Facebook. You said you had held up the snake. She said, "Look what I found in my with the chickens." And I said, and I went to my Facebook. I said, "Can you like mail that to me?" And I had, but it took almost probably 2 years to figure it out. And I didn't put a photo of what I did with that, but I used the snake shed on broken glass, and I mount it behind the broken glass and create jewelry out of it. And so
Wow.
that took a little while to figure out, and and so people love it or they hate it when they I come to a show because I do mark head snake shed so that it throws people off, doesn't throw people off, and they walk in and they pick it up and they go, "Oh my gosh, don't want anybody to faint in front of me at the show." So
Right.
but but everything is super fragile. So I had to figure out a way to work with it to make the substrate strong and wearable. And that was same thing with chlorophyll printing. It took me months to figure out how to make the leaves archival so that I can put them in a frame and they will reduce I can reduce the fading by a long time because what Mother Nature giveth, Mother Nature will take it away. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, that I bet that was a process finding out how to preserve these things because yeah, you want your art to last.
and I have to tell you, in the first week of May, I went to Kansas City to do a show. And I got in and set up, and we opened the show at 10 o'clock in the morning. And one of the vendor girls, she's all the way at the other end, and she does cyanotypes. So she saw my work, so she came up to talk to me. She walked up to the and saw my chlorophyll printer, my deep frames, my chlorophyll, and she said, "Oh yeah, I took a class from Ben Don in when I was in Arizona." And I'm standing there because Ben Don is a Vietnamese artist, and in the 1980s he had worked on chlorophyll printing, and he had taken banana leaves, which are indigenous to Vietnam, and he took really dark, emotional images from the Vietnam War and embedded them into banana leaves and had a worldwide exhibits because of the amazing exhibit and what I created. And he used epoxy from all of my digging to do in history. I found that he was kind of responsible for getting me to move to the next step because he said he used epoxy to make them archival. So fast forward to the 80s. And so here a girl walks into my booth after I spent months searching and studying all this stuff from Ben Don on how he did everything. And she just casually walks in, "Oh, yeah, I took a class from him." And I thought, "Oh my gosh, what are the chances of those things happening in life?" Yeah.
Right.
And so,
Yeah, because
yeah.
that's not something you
So
normally see. Yeah. Yeah.
no, oh gosh, and right, because normally I have the magazine out that I was able and I did a whole story of my process, and I laid the magazine out so I could pick it up and I could show them the bit of the process because
Hmm.
it's a very long process to do from start to finish. And but for somebody to walk in and know exactly who is responsible out of the blue for this, what just threw me. I was crazy. So, but that was exciting because that way I knew that there are people on Earth that know some things and just uh, uh, meeting up with them in the world at the right time.
Right. Right. Now, have you ever gotten to take a workshop with him?
Oh gosh,
Is
no,
he
I
still
don't know.
alive?
I Googled. I've forgotten where he is now. but he's teaching now, and now I can't remember exactly where he's teaching, but he was in Arizona doing other things. But he's moved on past all of this, and he's working in other things, and teaching in other forms of alternative processes, art and whatnot. So I chose kind of to walk away because of my squirrel syndrome. If I know too much of what else he's doing, perhaps that might throw me back into the black hole again. And I crawl out of it a lot, I find. Yeah, especially with like the paper. I'm in my deep frames. I'm always having to create backdrops and backgrounds to create the composition. And then one day in my feed, this lady said, "Did you know you can use grass and celery and whatnot to make paper with?" And I thought, what? And so now I can take my cyanotypes and my chlorophyll printing, and I can put them together, and I can mount them over handmade paper, and that's just another
Right.
layer to do. So why not? And so I went out and got some chives and boiled them, and now I have some that's celery and chive. So there you go.
Neat.
It just
Very neat.
it just and with Mother Nature, it's nonstop because everything I can pick up, nearly everything I can pick up. I'll pick up dead roots because you know where you live with old trees, when the base of the tree is just rotting away, things just roll out of the ground, and sometimes you can find just the coolest piece of a root, and then you can lay in um, uh, stones and stuff that have been tumbled, and you can embed them in and create a necklace using the root and stones. And so um, it just, there you go. More, and my
Yeah.
friends always are laughing. There was more squirrel.
Well, it takes
Hey,
a special
oh,
eye to notice that. Oh, go ahead, Patty.
Carol, I absolutely love everything you create. I love your style. I love your incorporation and honoring of nature. I mean, I have 1,000 questions for you. But the first thing I want to say is what, out of all your artwork you showed, the few butterfly pieces you did, kind of toward the end of the video, were stunning. Is that actually a real butterfly that you have mounted in those? It kind of had like, it was like matted and framed.
And that actually was it's a print of a monarch, and I found a monarch in a folded chair out by my garage one day, and it was just set in there, and it was dead, but it not for very long. So I brought it inside, and I did this. I laid it out flat, and I just laid it, but left it a couple of days, and came back and photographed it, and it was a perfect monarch. It had not a flaw in it. And then I got in and created the crazy background to do, but that monarch, I've made put it in jewelry and other little things, because some of the little jewelry trays, it's kind of hard. I had to put them in square ones to do, but I have laid it in, and to make a necklace, and then resin over the top. But yes, that was a monarch, and I have a friend that's always doing different things, and she said, "Do you happen?" And the standing joke is I just happen to have it in my basement, and so I just happen to have a monarch in the chair in my by my garage. I just happen to this. I just happen to that. So
Well, all your drawers and things. Well, I'll show you. Okay, you'll appreciate this. I have on my windowsill, I have jars of stuff. Here's one I found. These were just some butterflies I found out back,
oh
and I'm like, yep, we're just going to stick them in a
yeah,
jar.
I still have the butterfly up in a box, because I have it up in a box so it can breathe a little bit. And but yeah, I have a big full cicada and wasps and stuff to do. So I whenever I find, I pick them up and I put them in one of all those little drawers. And so at one point in time, I haven't used any of the actual insects and stuff, but I know there are people that do that. They come in and you can resin them and do different things. But I haven't gotten that far to try it because if I only have one, I don't know how it's gonna work. So I can always photograph it. So I could always have something to create with it, but I might not be able. So it's all
I
good.
love
So
that. Okay, my next question for you. So this weekend I'm actually going out to Tennessee to meet up with two girlfriends of mine, and we're going to do cyanotypes. It'll be my first time. I've never done cyanotypes. Any recommendations, and also like what kind of items? Like now I'm like, I wish I had some cicada wings because that looked so cool. But
they
any, I
are.
mean, it's
Yeah.
what's that?
Okay. Yeah. First thing to do is go out in your yard and see if you can find some itty bitty, tiny, itty bitty little weeds with some kind of a little ton of bloom on it. Just, you're on the edge of anything. See if you can find any little weird little bloom. Dandelions will work. Um, Chains, just necklace chains will work. Lace will work. Um, Big thick leaves won't because you'll get just a big white blob.
Hmm.
But the thinner and the more delicate, whatever it is, you can use. You can little heart jewelry. Um, if you have like old little broachy pens type of thing that have lots of little airspace in them. Um, it's hard to explain because sometimes you just don't really know. But the flatter the piece is, the better detail you're going to get on your cyanotype. Because generally, you're going to put a piece of glass over the top of it to press it down on the paper. So things that are really flat work really, really great. And things that
Okay.
are thin, translucent, tiny, whatnot, the sun will give you a lot more detail, but you just don't really know until you try it to do.
Well, and
And
that's so my friend, she got all the supplies. Her and her daughter kind of did a practice run last weekend. And so she has all this stuff. But yeah, like I've been going through, like I have some vintage keys. I have
right.
some these like translucent beads that are on like a rosary bead. So I'm not sure if that, if it's too, but yeah, like I'm kind of trying to go through the house, but I was, as you were saying that, I'm like, oh, I can't wait to try that process.
And but the thing is that that like the rosary beads are going to be a little thick. So if you have something super thin, super thin, and then something thick like the beads, then you may lose the detail from your little thin thing because the it you have to have a tight contact between the glass, the paper, and your thin flat things, and you have to really
Okay.
press them together to detail. And but there are times where you can actually create that with the glass, your paper, your thin things, and then I use black office clips
Oh,
around the
okay.
edge of
Just
the
like those
yeah. Just
plastic. Yeah, that's good. I'll add
yes,
that into mine.
yeah, throw your office clips in because take it all the way around because it'll hold your piece from sliding because you have to carry it and it'll
Yes.
slide. Yes, that's it. Office clips. And so pack your office clips. And I just use miscellaneous plate glass from Picture Frame.
Oh,
And
okay.
right, yeah, it doesn't have to be perfect. If it has, sometimes I'll put tape around the edge if I'm doing a workshop with kids, so that there's no sharp edges, and so that glass on the bottom, glass on the top, office clips, and then you can put your little composition thing down, and then put your glass office clips, and then you can maybe lay the rosary beads around a curve over the top of everything, and
Okay.
and that'll give you something over the top. It won't be a detail, but there might be a cool shadow to do, and it's going to depend on where you are with the sun that day.
Well, that's,
And
I was going to ask that. What is it better to do it like when the sun is at its highest point?
you can use it just about anywhere. If the sun is really out bright, then if you're not using something that's going to slide off, a lot of times I'll take the glass and the clips and then I'll lay it up like this, because depending on the time of year, sometimes the sun is here, and then sometimes of the year the sun is here. So if the sun is here late in the season, then what I'll do is I'll prop my piece up. Can you see my
So to
fingers?
get it
Because I can't.
perpendicular?
Yeah, right. And then sometimes so I'll prop it up so that it's angled up a little bit toward the sun a little bit. And so every time is different. It also depends if the clouds are moving fast or they're moving slow, then that kind of will change up the exposure time. It just everything is different. Every
It's
cyanotype is
so
different.
neat.
Every play is different. And welcome to the obsession. You'll have
Well, yeah,
so
now
much.
I'm like, I know this is going to be a
Oh yeah.
really fun rabbit hole. Because even, well, so in your video, you had the ginkgo leaves. Did you actually do cyanotyping on the ginkgo leaves?
Yes.
Hmm.
It was actually by accident, because on my cyanotype pages groups I follow, they kept using ginkgo leaves. And I thought, oh my gosh, you're doing cyanotypes on ginkgo leaves. Well, they were actually using the ginkgo leaves as the silhouettes. And before I forget, get a spray bottle with vinegar water, and get a spray
Okay.
bottle, and then
Just
get spray
white vinegar?
with shoot, now I just lost it. um Hydrogen peroxide, and water. And then what happens, and then you need some way to with a little bit of yarn or something here, and then they need to hang dry.
Okay, like a
And
little
yeah,
clothesline,
right.
basically create a
Because if
clothesline.
you don't want them to dry flat, because you don't always get all the chemicals out, and sometimes the chemicals will pull and leave dark dots or
Okay.
spots.
Hmm.
Yeah. So they need to hang dry. And I use hydrogen peroxide and water. After I rinse everything out, I lift it up, and then I use a spray bottle. You can put the hydrogen peroxide in the water, which some people do, but I like to spray it because you can watch it change in front of you. And the kids, their chins drop when you do that, and it immediately darkens everything to the dark blue. And it's
Mm.
like medium blue when you come out from the composition, but then when
Oh
you
yeah.
spray it, it goes dark blue, and that's with the hydrogen peroxide of water spray, and it's
Now,
just
didn't
amazing.
you do did you
Yes,
do a demo, right? Oh,
yes,
see, I'm
it's
gonna need
on.
to go back. Folks know that on the YouTube channel you can find
Yes,
Carol's
you
demo
No,
video.
just go back, go back and watch it, and it'll show you the process I do and all the different steps. And then I show how, because I have a clothesline above my sink where everything
Nice.
is
Okay, yeah. I'll share that
right.
with my friends too, so we can
Oh yeah, here
use you
that
as
is
inspiration.
yeah. And yeah, so it'll show you all sorts of different things to do. And but it's an endless thing. It's just the thicker the items are, the bigger white blob you're going to get.
Okay.
And only because the sun has to be able to penetrate through your objects in order to create detail. So that's why just regular leaves will just give you a white silhouette of it'll be the silhouette of a leaf. And vinegar water can also bring the highlights up. So sometimes people you'll spray, you can flick, you get on the paper, you can flick vinegar and stuff on your paper. And
Oh, to get
uh,
some
and
effects.
then and then and then other people make soap bubbles, and you can lay soap bubbles down on top of what you're doing, and then you put saran wrap over that, and it creates all this crazy texture. It's endless what you can do.
Oh, wow.
So
Well, so
I hope.
hearing the excitement in your voice just talking about it, out of all the different art you do, what would you say your favorite, your truly like what brings you the greatest joy? Because I know you love doing everything. But what do you think brings you the greatest joy in your creating?
Oh my gosh, I think it kind of goes back to the beginning, and it's actually is for this eagle nest because
Mm.
I'm self-taught as a photographer, and it's very difficult to go outside and shoot nature from a long distance and be able to create amazing images. And I went out and I went out 4 times, even had to add a bicycle in because the police kept driving me off because you couldn't park with your car there. And
Oh,
I kept going out, changing my lenses, changing my things, everything to do. And I got back, and I caught the female feeding one of the baby
Oh.
eaglets twice in one morning. And when I got home, I saw the picture. It's like, oh my gosh! And then it happened to me when I went to North Dakota. I went to the Teddy Roosevelt National Park to see the wild horses. And we ended up shooting 4 days, walking around, capturing the wild horses. And those are just like you can create stuff in your studio. But when I'm outside and have an opportunity of a lifetime to be able to shoot like the wild horses and shoot an eaglet out of hundreds of yards away from me. And then I think it comes back and says, I can do this. And I'm so proud of myself because creating and learning how to use your camera takes years and decades. And to be able to come back and present something like this after, because I didn't pick a camera up till I was 53 years old, 50
Wow.
plus. My professional camera at 53. I had a little point and shoot at 50. But so yeah, so late in life to be able to come into, I think the best thing to do is like, I did this. And that's what's so
Mhm.
exciting.
Well, and it's so admirable how you have taught yourself, that it is something that you have, were exposed to at some point and then say, I want to learn this. How can I make this happen? I mean, you're just, that constant just growing and learning. And I think it's neat, like as we look through all the artwork that you have produced, so much of it just continues to overlap and build in your style,
Right.
in your technique, in your message behind all this work. It's so neat. Like I'm honored to know you, and just, doing these studio tours has been such a blast. But yeah,
That's
I want to
cool.
come over and just look through all the drawers.
Oh my gosh, it
But
is, and I see. I think a little bit there's a thread of my previous life that comes in because I spent 30 years having to teach myself antique items, and I had to learn about them. I had explained it to my customers and present facts to them because this was before Antique Roadshow, and so I had to go through and then prove things were real and not real. So I had the impetus to just keep going and learning and doing. So here I just say, now I play hard. So I kind of do the same thing, but I just play with stuff and come back and do. And then the brain goes, what the heck? What the heck?
Mhm.
And then last in December, I had two friends go into hospice, and it kind of threw me off because, and then I had a friend just in February lost her husband. But in December, it was so difficult because as a widow, when people have these losses, it's still right under here. And so I kind of had this issue, like, what am I going to do? So I realized I had to do something. So actually I focused, and I dug out work for 13 years in 7 states and put together a book on cemeteries. And it's a little ironic that I was doing it on cemeteries, but the concept and idea surfaced, and I knew I needed to take the time and put that energy into something positive, so I wouldn't fall back into a level of grief that my friends and I were all sharing with the hospice and everything. So, so the how it surfaces and starts, it can be triggered by anything. So it could be a reel on my friend send me reels. I say it's all your fault, and so yeah, it's all your fault that I'm here doing all of this. But I don't know why. I don't know why or how. But my brain just keeps clicking.
That's good. That's that's excellent.
Yeah.
How about
Oh,
do you have a ginkgo? No, I was gonna
no,
say, do you have a ginkgo tree, or do you just collect ginkgo leaves whenever you?
no. No, I actually ordered some when I got the laser. There's actually this, you can actually laser etch leaves with designs in them. So I ordered some off of Etsy from California. They're big green ones, but it didn't work because the laser etch didn't work on a green leaf. You couldn't see it. So I went for
Mm.
Thanksgiving. I went down to my family in Kansas City, down in Warrensburg, and I told my sister, I said, "Are there any ginkgo trees around? I need some ginkgos because I want to do the cyanotypes on the ginkgo leaves." She said, "Oh, the university has a big ginkgo tree." So I took a box down, 2 boxes, and I filled filled huge boxes. And they had just fallen, so there's just like ginkgo leaves this thick under all the tree. So people drive by, I'm filling my boxes with ginkgo leaves, and I was house sitting for
There
my
with a
nephew.
rake.
Yeah, well, I was house sitting with my nephew, so I took them to his basement, poured them all out into his basement, and let them dry for 2 days. And then I
Mhm.
put them all back in dry into thing and brought them back. And then so I had there's a one short picture of a box of all these ginkgo leaves.
Mhm.
And so now to go through and sort them and figure it all out. So
Yeah.
I'll blame it on them.
Mhm.
But
Hey,
these ginkgo leaves are small and easy to make them wearable. They're small enough that they're delicate enough for jewelry and size wise. And people kept coming in when I took them the first time, and they said, "Oh my gosh, their ginkgo's my favorite." So who knew?
mm, right, right. Hey, Patty,
Yes,
I have
ma'am.
a suggestion. I have a suggestion for you for
Okay.
your trip to Tennessee. I mean, you've got such a garden of flowers. I really think you should pick, some of your flowers that you think would press nicely and do a piece just of flowers from your yard. I think that'd be cool.
Well, how would they trap? So we do have, like, we're figuring, because the two gals I'm meeting up with, we love hiking. So it was kind of one of these, we were going to go out and do a hike and then gather stuff, to
Mhm.
bring back.
Okay.
If I wanted to bring flowers from my yard, I mean, is it better when you're doing the cyanotypes that you use freshly picked stuff, or,
Oh,
you know,
it actually you can use pressed, dried, or fresh. It's
okay.
just that if they're dry pressed, then they're going to come out exactly like you just lay them in, put the glass over,
Oh,
and you're
because
done.
they're
If,
flatter
if
then.
right, yeah, and also they're firmed up in shape. Right, when
Mm.
you press them, they're firm, but the fresh ones, then you'll have to kind of arrange the petals if you want to make sure that the petals kind of lay out flat, because when you lay the glass down, sometimes the fresh petals will crunch and fold up
Kind of
and do
smushed.
so.
Okay.
Right, in the smush. Yeah, in the smush, sometimes fresh, but also things that have multi petals are really good, especially if they're narrow and they have air space between them, because you'll get a tiny little blue between the thing. So
Oh, nice.
you don't want. Right. And then something that has a lot of, not hairy, but you kind of like thistle-ish and things
Mhm.
that have texture too. They just kind of really good because the sun can go through a lot of that. And but if they're too thick, if the flowers and stuff are too thick, then uh, then they can be there'll be a little less detail in the center, maybe a little more detail in the center, and a little less because the glass will set up, and then there'll be an air pocket because of the base of the stem. And then but that's why weeds are perfect, because if you're going hiking and you'll be out where there are all sorts of weeds. um oh Shoot, lace,
Queen
lace, what's
Anne's
her name?
lace.
Queen Anne's
Thank you.
lace.
Mhm.
Perfect. You can never have a bad cyanotype with Queen Anne's lace. Never. It's amazing.
Neat. Okay.
It,
So
it's
this is good to
amazing
know. So
because
then I probably should go and cut some flowers today, kind of try and dry and press them, and then bring them with me.
right, because the cyanotype, it doesn't matter if they dry brown or it doesn't really matter what they do, because with the
Because
cyanotype,
you're looking at the shape, not the
right,
color of them.
right.
So, okay.
And yeah, and but if you find a place that has some Queen Anne's lace to do, it's great. And you can also one thing you could do is you can take the Queen Anne's lace and keep the stems, clip them deep so you can keep some of the stems, and then you can create a tiny little looks like a bouquet. And then at the base, you can take and with a cyanotype, you could take a piece of bark or whatnot down, a little piece of copper or something, which I've done, and you can create the vase at the base of
Oh,
the cyanotype.
neat.
You
Yeah.
put it in the frame. Yeah, so if you can make bouquets, and at the bottom you can think of anything in the world to create the vase at the bottom, and then you have a cyanotype bouquet.
Oh, I love this. Thank you
Mhm.
for all these great ideas.
Mhm.
Oh, you're welcome.
That'll be fun.
Oh, it will
That'll
be,
be fun.
especially, and because all of you working together, you will excite each other, and you'll all learn
Hmm.
something from each other with it. So that's what's really good about it. Is the fact you will all pool your excitement and knowledge together and
Hmm.
experience. And once you see what things are doing, then you can go back and say, "Oh, let's try this." And I like
Hmm.
what you did, I like what you did. And everybody's gonna have a little bit different style, but just think to
Right.
always try to come back with at least a bouquet, where you can do a frame and you can create a bouquet with your little vase at the base.
Oh, that's neat.
That'll
Well, so it all actually started. So my friend that's in Tennessee, she's just east of Nashville. She did a workshop last year where they actually made cyanotypes with their bodies, like they laid down. So she has
always
this
fun.
huge one
Wow.
hanging in her bedroom that she's posed, and they, like, the people she was with, they spread her hair out. So all
Yeah.
of her hair, I mean, it really was. So we have been talking about doing these since last year. We get together every June. We call ourselves the June Bugs because we get together
Oh,
every
Mhm.
cool.
June. One friend is in North Carolina, I'm in Missouri, and then my other friend is in Tennessee. So we went to North Carolina last year, and then this year we're all meeting up in Tennessee. So yeah, it's just like we're just so excited to be doing it because we've been talking about it for a while. So I love this.
Did
So
she
yeah,
do it?
I'm gonna
Did,
share that your video with them and say,
oh,
let's,
yeah.
you know.
Did she do it on fabric? The full
um
was on fabric,
the
or they did it on paper?
They did it on paper, but she said she did buy, I guess she does have like she bought some canvas bags for us to play around. Like once we,
Mm.
kind of get the style we want, then we'll do a cyanotype on canvas. So
Because there are
I'm
people who,
so excited.
oh my gosh, there are people who do the full body ones, and they actually put the cyanochemicals on fabric, and they lay all that stuff out and lay their bodies out. I have seen that, and that's just really cool. And then they hang these huge, it almost becomes like a drape in the room with this big on fabric. It's crazy. I
It's
know.
so neat. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. So this
Yay.
was like a nice little teaser to start talking about it,
Oh, cool. Excellent. That's so much fun.
Yeah.
Hooray. Yeah, maybe next year, if they're
Yeah.
going to Missouri next year, maybe I can be a June bug.
Oh,
Well, we
yeah.
actually met through an online sobriety group because we all have sobriety under our belt. So it's been neat because I've had an online friendship with them for years. And
Oh gosh. And they,
2 years ago, they love they watched like the Food Network or whatever. So they had made a plan to go to Paducah, and then they reached out to me. So in June of 2024, they were like, "Hey, we're meeting up in Paducah. Would you be interested in joining us?" And I was like, "Yes." So then that's where the June bugs were born in Paducah in June of
excellent.
2024. So, but this, of course, is a little personal information for our Best of Missouri Hands call here. Oh, life of an artist.
That's
That's
okay.
right.
It's all, but having groups to share with, I actually
Yeah.
am coming in July. I go back to a local library, and this will be my I think my fourth cyanotype workshop I've been doing at libraries and local art places. And usually it's for kids, but the adults keep asking me to say, let me know when your next one is. And I go in with, because you can actually order the paper, all, with the chemicals already on it. So that's what I use with the
Oh,
kids, because when I go to the library, the kids all walk away with a cyanotype that they have done themselves, and it's a make and take. And so during the workshop, I explained to the parents how they can go back and how the kids can go out in their backyard and do it at home. And so it
nice.
takes so they can come back in the summertime. It's a great, you can go and you can just do sun printing in their backyard, and all they need is some cool stuff, some water, and that's all they need. It's cool.
Well, and it's neat just the
Right.
combination, like how you're doing this exhibit, like to combine the art and the science into a really cool process.
Oh, I
Yeah.
know. And that was really weird because we started, when I first started this, his wife is the librarian that I'm connected with where I do my cyanotypes. So they were we were hanging together, and I started talking about it. He said, well, that was my PhD thesis. And I'm going, what? So I talked his ear off every time I saw him as I was starting through this process to do. And he was explaining to me where you can have two leaves, the upper leaf and the lower leaf. And if this leaf, you could take this leaf off and this leaf off, and one of them will work and one of them will not. And he said, if this leaf right here could change the chlorophyll in this leaf and it not work properly.
Right.
So
Hmm.
he was to me some of the science on and then it turns out he scanned all these things that images from his microscope, the chloroplasts from the microscope. So we're creating art with his scanned things from the microscope, and then my work, and then I'm going to take some of his scans, and I'm going to do a cyanotype using his chloroplasts.
That's
So,
so
and
cool.
so, oh my gosh, it's like a dream thing. And the art
Mhm.
gallery, they liked the idea, but they were like looking at us like really weird because it was hard to explain what it is. So we met up with them. We took all of our stuff, and I took some of my framed pieces in, and their jaws dropped. They like, oh my gosh, that's like the coolest thing ever. And so they say we loved it. So we'll be the featured artist in October at the show. So it's gonna be really exciting to do. So
That is so
uh,
neat. Congratulations on that. I mean, what a cool opportunity.
I know because
Yeah,
you know you could exhibiting in places are cool, but this going together with somebody else
right.
that has the exact same, he will talk my ear off about the chloroplasts,
Mhm.
and I think how can
Mhm.
I out talk me? And,
Mhm.
and it's true. So and we're sitting there, and he's going on, and it's like this science is going all over here because I only had a minor in biology. Yeah, in college I had a minor in biology, so I do know what chloroplast is. But going through all of this stuff, and he's a biologist now in Chicago, and oh my gosh, it's just over the moon to be able to come in and be so technical with the art. And I think we titled is it nature and science can be fun.
Oh,
And that I think that's where we're titling it, because if we use the word chlorophyll and chloroplasts, we're not going to do so. We're going to do
Right.
nature and science to get how nature and science can be fun. And so there we go.
It's very
that's so
exciting.
awesome.
Make sure that you keep us posted on that, Carol, so that we can share that out with everybody and stuff. So
Will do.
we are getting close to the end of our time, but one thing we've been asking everybody that we have talked with on these studio tours is when you're working in your space and that, do you listen to radio or do you have TV on or do you like silence? How do you, when you're creating and really into it, what's your atmosphere like?
Oh my gosh. I live in a life of white noise. I have to
Mhm.
have the TV on all the time. If I'm working I'm in my back room where my computer and stuff is, and my TV's on in the background on mute. In my studio, I have TV, and it's always on in the background. So if I'm going back and forth there, I will have multiple TVs on because I thrive under white noise. I don't work. I don't know why, but I just don't work. I don't create a quiet space to work. And I
Mhm.
think maybe it allows it my and also I had insomnia issues for a long time after my husband passed away, and I went to podcasts at night, a Bluetooth speaker, and I have them on all night so my brain doesn't try
Wow.
to solve the world's problems. So I think it's the same kind of thing. I go in, and what it does is that my brain will go over here to, and I watch Dateline reruns because
Oh, yeah,
there's nothing like listening to a murder mystery while you're doing your art. Why not? Yeah. And
exactly.
but that I think it's how my brain works and stuff, the necessity to have it go over there, and it frees up
Right.
some of the other space. I can't explain it, but that's just how my body functions. So
Yeah. Wow. Okay. How can people find you
welcome to Carol.
beyond this? Yeah.
Yeah. My website is pretty static, but it's welcome to carolworld.com. And I'm at Welcome to Carol World on Instagram. And I'm Carol Estes and on Facebook. And because I'm in Indiana, so you can always find me because my profile picture will have something usually right now. I don't do weddings, but artist friend of mine specifically last fall asked me if I would do her wedding. So right now, my profile picture is a wedding picture because I'm going through and working on all of her wedding pictures. So um, that's why it's hard to say no to an artist friend when they specifically ask
Right.
you to come. And just like anything, I had a bride and groom duck in my basement, And so I took it with me to the thing. So so one of the pictures I just finished up to do is bride and groom duck sitting, and that's going to be one of their wedding photos. So
That'll be fun. That'll be fun.
and
Well,
that's all part of
that's right. That's right. Well, you know what? You're never bored. You've always got something exciting to work on, and that's fantastic.
yeah,
So, and I also,
absolutely.
why haven't you juried in mixed media?
I can't jury in a mixed media because I don't spend enough. They have new rules with Best of Missouri Hands, and you're required
Right,
to live in Missouri so many days a year.
right.
And uh,
So,
but
So
yeah,
when
so
you
they
move back, that's going to be on the
right.
list of things to do.
Yeah.
on a list
Okay.
on the list of things to do.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I
Good.
actually found it. I found an art group and that I got connected with in May in Lee Summit. So I'm going to join that. And it turns out uh, they after 3 months you could jury in to the art
Okay.
group. So I'm going to start working in on seeing about getting juried in, and it turns out that it's going to. We found a. I can't live in town. Like Kim would never be able to live in town. They'll kick her, drag her out, kicking and screaming. I cannot live in town, but we found in the middle of Lee Summit, the middle of the urban scrawl, we found 5 acres of agriculture in the middle of nowhere where you can't see anything except the creeks and the grass and nothing else.
Nice.
And it looks like I'm going to be able to put a small place to live in there and be able to look out my doors, kind of like I've been doing the last 50 years.
Yeah.
And my
Excellent.
family wants
That'll
me,
be
yeah,
perfect.
and my family would
That'll
like
be
wants me
perfect.
to go back. Yeah, and so it's probably time. It'll be the next couple of years, so I'll be working
Yeah.
toward there. So, but thanks
Nice.
for having me.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for doing this, Carol. It was very, very educational and fun. You're always a wealth of knowledge and stuff. You just it is very inspiring that how creative you are and how you can just look at anything and get excited about it and make art from it. So thank you for sharing that with us today.
Oh, you're so
I
welcome.
want to let everybody know that next month we are going off script just a little bit. Uh, our we will be meeting on the fourth Tuesday into the second. So it'll be July 28th, and we will be meeting with Lisa Hilton and Joanna Jackson next month. They both were awarded $500 grants this spring from Best Missouri Hands as part of professional development. And they're going to talk to us about how they've utilized their grant money and what it has meant to them and their creativity and stuff. So, but then in August, we'll come back on the second Tuesday, August 11th, and we'll be doing a studio tour with Cindy Mutrix, I believe, glass artist, and Kathleen Day, who's a fiber artist with Best Missouri Hands. So we're continuing this. It's been working great. And Patty, if you want to see her studio tour, she's on here with us today. Her studio tour is up on the YouTube video, up on the YouTube channel, and it was a lot of fun too. So I've been loving these. So I appreciate everybody taking the time to do this and opening up and sharing with us. So thank you, ladies. Thank you, Carol, very much. Appreciate
Yeah.
you.
Thanks so much, Carol. Thanks, Kim.
Have
Have a good
oh,
day.
have a blast in Tennessee.
Thank you. I will.